The idea did not come to me fully formed. The idea was more of a feeling. I've been describing it like an itch that I wanted to scratch. And normally, if I have a feeling that I want to exercise, I will either, watch a certain film or listen to a certain album or find some way to satisfy the feeling. And I think I was having a feeling that I had nowhere to put. There wasn't a song, there wasn't a film, there wasn't an answer to this thing I was feeling. And so the answer was to create the thing myself. And so I started to write. And I think it was just a combination of frustration and rage and curiosity and humor. And wanting a place to put all those things. And yeah, slowly it became what is now Blink Twice. What I was really interested in is the concept of power, and we're so drawn to it. It's part of human nature, and it's something that we want, and it's something that also controls us and destroys us. And in order for someone to be on top, somebody has to be on the bottom, and so it's oppressive by nature. And I was just fascinated with the concept of it, what people are willing to do to get it. What do people do once they have it? How do people change once they have it? And so the concept of power was the thing that brought me to the story. It's definitely, in the thriller horror genre, I would think. But, in my opinion, our favorite films have elements of all the genres. But I do think that, I'm a huge fan of the thriller horror genre. I've always been, and I think I like films that keep me at the edge of my seat. I like films that I have to try to figure out what's going on, and you kind of get to engage with the movies in a different way when you're trying to put together the puzzle yourself. And I also just think because it's so heightened, these movies, like you're able to get away with so much and explore so much. And if you can get the audience on board with you, you can just kind of, you can go to really wild places. So yeah, it's like a psychological thriller, which that also has elements of comedy and horror as well. This movie is about a young woman named Freda, who is a cocktail waitress, who also has a side hustle as a nail technician, a nail artist. She meets tech billionaire Slater King at his foundation, at his charity foundation. Slater is kind of on the comeback from a cancellation, so he's had a bit of a bad rep, but he's done some self-reflective work. He's gone into therapy, and now he's back, and he's doing philanthropy and things like that. And he's since bought an island so that he can kind of reconnect with nature and his friends and have a place to go where he's able to be private, because obviously he's a very public person. And Freda and him meet at the gala, have a connection, and her friend Jess get invited to the island with Slater and all his friends. And they're having a great time, so it seems. And then people start to slowly realize that there's something wrong with this place. There's something strange going on, and they have to figure out what it is. Channing Tatum plays Slater King, and I, started to write this character, and then, as you do, start to think about who would play this role, and I knew that I wanted somebody unexpected to play this role, and somebody that feels inviting, and somebody that we think we know. And Chan is an incredibly charismatic and charming person, and I just thought how interesting it would be to watch him play something so different, someone so different. You know, because he is so charming and charismatic, I think he often gets asked to play roles that are very similar to each other. So that was something I was really excited to see him do. And I also just knew inherently that he was an actor that wouldn't be afraid of this role, and would want to contribute to the story as a whole. And, you know, we developed the script together, and he produced the film as well. So we were able to really, you know, take our time developing the story as a whole, and also the character of Slater King, which he is, you know, did a phenomenal job playing the role. Naomi Ackie plays Freda, and wow, what a dream. She is just a phenomenal actor. She is so smart and so quick and so prepared, and it comes so naturally to her. It just like breezes out of her. Like giving her a note and watching her digest a scene, it's just like second nature, you know? And when she read the script, you know, just how quickly, again, she understood the character and understood the themes of the story and understood, you know, what the movie was about. And the tone of the film is very specific, and where the horror was and the vulnerability and the comedy and, you know, all of those things. And she's able to juggle it all so beautifully. And is also just a wonderful human being, you know, comes to work every day prepared and happy to be there. There's a lot going on there with Freda. I think, you know, she definitely has her nose pressed against the glass, you know, of this kind of dream world where everything is easy and done for you, you know. She is somebody who pours champagne for other people, and I think it only makes sense that she fantasizes about somebody pouring champagne for her, which again is like this, it's the thing I'm so interested in terms of the power. It's like, you know, you don't like pouring champagne, and yet you want someone to pour champagne for you, and like, where does that end and what does that mean? So I think she's drawn to that, which is absolutely okay. I mean, she's somebody who's literally told by her boss, you know, be invisible, you know, and who wants to be invisible? Nobody, you know? And so she wants to be seen. She wants to be seen because she should be seen. And unfortunately, you know, that desire does get her into a dangerous and complicated situation. And I think it's a combination of that and then also being seen by somebody that has power. And what does that mean, you know? And how does that feel for someone that never had that? I really wanted to create an environment that I personally wanted to be at, like thinking about trips I've taken with friends of mine, you know, and good conversation and good food and like home-cooked meals and, you know, drugs and dancing and, you know, all of that. And so I really wanted to create a trip that I personally would want to be at. So yeah, especially, you know, I wanted when the rug gets pulled from under us, the audience, you know, we're truly bummed because we were actually having a really good time. And it's fun to watch. You feel like you're there. You feel like you know everybody. The cast truly loves each other so much, and I think you really feel that too. So it's like, it's a group of friends that you know, you want it to stay that way. And unfortunately, it does not. Gina Davis, legend, plays Stacy, who is Slater King's assistant. And she is, you know, someone that's worked with Slater, I think, for a long time, kind of takes on the role of a mother for him. Yeah, she just kind of like takes care of everything for Slater and is very funny and unassuming and has a, you know, a fantastic arc in the film as well. Alisia Shakat plays Jess, who is Freda's best friend and roommate, and they also work together as cocktail waitresses. And, you know, she's kind of the audience in a way. She's the one who's, you know, there and from the beginning is kind of asking all the questions that no one else is asking. You know, Freda's kind of too enamored with the world to ask these questions, and Jess is the one that's kind of, you know, sleeping with one eye open. Audrey Arona plays Sarah, who is another guest on the island who also has eyes for Slater. And so, and she's also on a reality competition show called Hot Survivor Babes. So she's kind of a reality star. And her and Freda, you know, since they both are into Slater, have a competition thing going on, which is super fun to watch. But eventually they, you know, they do get to know each other better, and it's a great friendship to watch develop. Their relationship in the movie is one of my favorites. It was great. I mean, we had a wonderful time. We all lived where we shot the film. So it was like this insane fever dream summer camp situation, and thank God we all really loved each other because we were together a lot. But it was so nice because, you know, we were isolated, we were in the middle of nowhere, but we just, you know, it really created this kind of bonding experience. We would eat meals together every day, we'd hang out on the weekends, people would, you know, come watch scenes when they weren't given, you know, in the scene that day, and you know, we had a really wonderful time, and I think it really did like bond the cast in this way that really comes through in the performances. You know, everyone felt so close to each other and so safe with each other, and so playful with each other, and I think it really did elevate the film as a whole. We had a really good time. Directing is wild. You really can't prepare yourself for it. I think as somebody who's been on many movie sets, I had zero idea what it actually took to make a film, which, you know, I guess part of that is what you want, you know, for your actors. You want them to be able to focus on what they're there to do, and, you know, you want to do everything else. And that's the way it's designed. But I'm so thankful now to just really have this real understanding of what it takes to make a movie. You know, so much prep, so much during, so much post. It's like, you know, it's like giving birth. You really have to love it. And I do. I love the story. I love directing. I love problem solving. You know, trying to stay creative while in a crisis, I think, is like the director's job. And it's a great challenge. I think, you know, when it seems like when you lose a location, or you lose an actor, or you're losing light, or you know, it's always the race against time, and finding creative ways to deal with it, and not giving up and just doing whatever. It actually, I think, almost always leads you to something better than you originally intended. Yeah, I love it. I love directing. It's wild. I hope they have fun. I really hope people, when they watch this movie, have a good time, because, you know, as a lover of cinema, like, that's what I want to feel when I watch a movie. You know, I want to go and be entertained. You know, I was thinking about filmmaking recently, and just what you know, entertainment in general. And as I'm a very heady person, I'm thinking a lot in my head all the time, as I think most of us are. And for something to truly capture your attention so that you're able to take a vacation from your own mind, I think is a major gift. So I just hope that people are able to take a break from their own brain and go on this journey and have a good time, and then have great conversations with their friends after. I think that this film is a wild ride, and I think it's a sensory experience too. This movie is about the way things look and taste and smell and feel, and so I think, you know, there's just nothing like being in a dark room where your focus is on the screen, and and it's loud. And I also think the communal experience too, with anything has jumps or you know, any kind of emotion like that, it's so fun to watch it with other people and hear people laugh and gasp and all of that. I mean, there's nothing like the communal experience of watching a movie in a theater. You can't beat it.